Hello and welcome to Sidequest. This is our weekly video game show here at Geekverse. I'm your host Dylan Muss, and I have with me the back to school Kirklin Patzer. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. As the name suggests, I started my back to school today, and the best news that came out of today is I found out I have 2 weeks off over Christmas and New Year's.
Nice.
I haven't had 2 weeks off for a school reason, like literally since grade school, so that's super, super exciting. It might just be because of the way that it lined up, like with, I don't know what day is New Year's or whatnot, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and it's gonna be cram time between now and then. You know, I'm gonna be a little bit down on the video game playing, I think, in the next 10 weeks here.
Fair.
But in those 2 weeks, man, I'm gonna be going hard. So yeah, I'm doing great.
Yeah, I was because you obviously just had your trip to Japan, which was like 2 weeks. But yeah, like what are you gonna do? Have you even thought forward to that? Of like, oh, in these 2 weeks, I'm gonna accomplish this thing, I want to do this thing, or is it more just like I'll really need that time off to relax, and obviously it's around the holidays and whatnot?
Yeah, we don't have too much going on, like family stuff and events going on. Like I'm definitely going to be doing some snowboarding days up there.
Nice,
I think
yeah.
Shay's schedule kind of aligns that we'll be able to go up together. So that'll be nice. But beyond that, I mean, no, I haven't really had time to think about that. I'm sure I'll get like some sort of homework assignment during that time that I'll probably completely forget about till the last day before I go back, as it usually goes. But no, I definitely am going to be doing some good gaming in there. I haven't picked anything yet, but yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that because we're skipping what we've been playing because neither of us have really been playing a whole lot the last couple of weeks. We just have a big topic for today. But yeah, what's next on your hit list? Obviously it sounds like you maybe haven't thought about it yet, but I'm putting you on the spot. What is like the next game or series, or do you have something that's like, okay, I'm ready when I have some time finally, maybe not in the next few weeks because of school, but do you have something that's next up?
I definitely want to get back into Elden Ring. I want to close that chapter
nice.
on just the main game there. I'm still in the Halig Tree area. Haven't fought Melania yet, but yeah, in that area. And I booted it up. Well, actually, yeah, I forgot I booted it up on the weekend really, really briefly. I just felt so rusty, and like I didn't have time to like really jump back in and like just go at it. So I was like, I'm kind of demoralized. I like died once and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not ready for this. So I definitely want to get back in there. And I feel like it's one of those things where like, because I got like a random like lore Elden Ring podcast that came on. Like I was just getting in that realm of like immersion. So I mean, if I have 2 weeks off, it's a great way to jump in there. And I think it would be one of those things where I jump in and I just get really hooked again, and it's like I just make significant progress in like a serious gaming session. So I think that's just what I need to really get there. Because I was talking to one of my friends that's a big Souls guy. He's beat all of these games. He's like the expert that everybody just knows in the Souls realm. And he was really getting me excited about the DLC. Scaring me a little bit because I've heard it's just like the difficulty jump is pretty insane with some of those bosses. But there's just so much that I've yet to explore in the game. But no, I love it. The more I play it, the more I just think it's going to cement itself in my top 10 favorite games of all time. Next time we do that updated ranking, and I know we just did ours, but yeah, Elden Ring, man. I think that's the next one on my list because I just really, really want to close that one. And it's the type of game, too, that like if and when I roll credits on, it's just going to feel so satisfying with how much blood, sweat, and tears has gone into this character already.
Hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very cathartic journey. When you finally beat it, but then obviously you have that DLC to dive into as well.
Yeah,
I guess because the only thing I've been playing is a little bit of Hitman. Just back in there, they announced that they're doing like an Eminem DLC. He's the next elusive target. I think it's like Eminem's like on your side and you're taking out Slim Shady or something stupid like that. I don't know. I don't think they've shown off which map they're doing it for. My guess is maybe like the Germany underground nightclub mission that feels like it could be a good vibe, and I don't think there has been like a celebrity one on that map before, so I feel like there's good potential there. So yeah, I've just been playing some Hitman, and honestly kind of salty because I had 2 freelancer runs where I failed on the final showdown at the end of the campaign, like 20 missions in.
No.
And the second one was so I don't even want to get into it. It was so dumb though. I just like walked into a room, assassin saw me, like just enough, and then he alerted everyone, and there was like 9 people, so I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this in time while everyone's fleeing the level. So had a couple salty runs there, but yeah, just looking forward to checking out that new content when that drops. And then yeah, I'm kind of just killing time until I got into the Marvel Token fighting. What is it called? Marvel Token Fighting Souls. Yeah, that's what it's called. I got into the beta for that, so that's like the first
nice.
week of December. So I'm gonna be playing. I mean, I think that's like maybe just like even 72 hours, but I'm gonna try and play a bunch of that. And then that same week, Marvel Cosmic Invasion comes out. So I think I'm just kind of twiddling my thumbs until these up, because I think that Hitman DLC is also like the first week of December. So I'm gonna be pretty busy with those three things in a couple, or I guess next week even. So kind of just doing nothing until then. Which is totally fine. But yeah, that leaves a lot of room open for us to talk about a fun topic here. I feel like this often happens for us. We'd have like an impromptu ranking episode, but they're just fun to do. And yeah, there was very little news this week, not much in the games we've been playing. So what we decided to do is we are going to do our individual top 10. Well, I guess, did we even talk about a top 10? I don't know if we've really talked about the rules of this, but we're going to do our favorite
I got
game.
10.
Okay, cool. We're going to do our top 10 favorite game series, favorite game franchises. We can talk through what exactly that means. But I think this is going to be a fun one. I guess just right off the bat, Kirkland, like, we've thought about this today, swirling around your head. Was it easy to come up with this list for you? Is there a bunch of honorable mentions? Do you have some snubs? Is it like, I really only played one game in this series and like maybe a second one? Like, do I count that? Like, did you run into any walls like that?
I definitely did. It was one of those things where I thought like a certain franchise was really going to just pop on the list. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, I really only like the one game. And like, is that worthy of going on the list because of the one game? I thought not. So my list is, I haven't played all the games on some of these in here, but like they have very significant memories across multiple titles. So that was kind of like the threshold that I was putting on myself to make my list here. It populated really quick, so I definitely have a couple honorable mentions to shout out, and even never mind. I'll talk about when we get to those, but. Yeah, just the structuring of them. Also, I rearranged it a few times. I'm already looking at a couple, and I'm like, do I really want it there? But
I don't even have an order. I'm gonna be firing from the hip on my order of them.
I respect that. But no, it was fun to kind of think back on my journey of just a gamer from the get go, and just looking back on the franchises that really just stuck to me. So yeah, it was a fun list to make. Yeah.
For me, like the top. Or at least like 5 series were like immediate slam dunks. I've played like 5 or more games, and I love like at least 4 or 5 of the games in the series. So that's like, okay, that's extremely easy. I'll put that on the list. And then there was others where it's like, man, yeah, I love 2 games, and then like maybe I've played a third one or something, but like, is that enough? Maybe I just love one game a lot, and then I've dabbled in much of other ones. Like, does that make it on the list? And then there's so many weird ones. So I want to chuck some at you first, just to see like, how do you even quantify this as a series? Because some games, it makes a lot of sense. There's the game, and then there's the game 2, game 3, game 4, and it's called that. It's like, okay, well, that's usually pretty straightforward. When you get into subtitles and stuff, sometimes it gets kind of screwy. But what about the our favorite pink little guy, Kirby? Like, what is the Kirby series? Do you break it up by 2D,
very
3D,
different type of
even
games.
though there's only like one 3D? I was thinking about this, like, is there a single Kirby game with a 2 in the title?
I feel like you would know more than I don't know.
I can't think of one off the top of my head. Like, I feel like everyone has its own subtitle, and there's so many spin-offs and stuff too. So like,
what about Mario though? Because Mario also has that, right? Or would you have to choose? Like, because I definitely have Mario on my list. I guess this is spoilers, but like that's also encompassing so many Mario titles that I've just played in my days. So like, is that kind of a gray area? Can I even have that on there?
Well, let's get into it. Like for Mario, are you including sports and party and kart in that, or just platformers when you say Mario?
So now that I think about it, I feel like I would have to include those, because those are like significant Mario titles in my mind. Like even just Mario Kart, like that's like one of the just funnest games I've played in my days. Like Smash Bros, I guess that's not really significantly a Mario title.
No.
But like my mind just went to the platformers initially.
Okay.
Because there's variations of those games, but they like the main engine kind of feels the same. Even like the 2.5D, like the later titles, I feel like those
Right.
kind of still have that same essence and magic there.
Mm-hmm.
But then like my mind also goes to like Super Mario Sunshine, and like that was one of my favorite games ever. So
Yeah.
where do I draw the line there? Maybe no sports titles, I guess.
Okay.
That could
Yeah,
be
because I was thinking about Mario as well, and I just put Mario question mark on my list because, like, I feel like, there is Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3. That's, like, clearly a little trilogy. There's, like, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, so that obviously is, like, a series within a series. I feel like a lot of people really delineate it by, like, 2D Mario games versus 3D Mario games. And even within the 2D, there's the Super Mario Land series where there's, like, 3 or 4 games with numbered titles. You have the new Super Mario Bros. I think there's, like, 2 or 3 of those, and those are, like, numbered as well. So those feel like, okay, those are obviously series together. But for me, I feel like I would need to pick 2D or 3D, but even then, like 3D, it's like 64 doesn't really have a theme. Then you have Sunshine, then you have Galaxy, and then you have Odyssey. Maybe Galaxy Odyssey, that's like a spacey connection there. Like maybe that seems like they're all connected, but I really struggled with like, what do I count in my Mario series? Like, I feel like I would maybe do it by 2D or 3D for myself. But this is your list. You can never do that ever the heck you want. But I also don't, like, if I don't bundle them together, I don't know if that is a top 10. I feel like, to me, I need those different flavors. But, like, I feel like those flavors are different enough that they kind of seem like separate series in my head. I don't know if any of that makes sense. That's just the crazy rambling thoughts I've had all day thinking about this.
I feel like it's not a matter of if I take away the sports titles, do the Marios go off my list? I think they're still on my list with or without the sports titles. But if I have all the sports titles, it would just be higher on my list.
For me, the
sports how I look at it.
And kart and party, those are 3 separate. Like the sports one individual. It's like, this is the Striker series. That's the Sluggers. Right. Kart, party. For me, those are 4. Like in my mind, it's easy to delineate those.
Yeah.
The platformers is where it gets harder for me. And then obviously there's like Mario RPG. Is that part of the Mario series? Paper Mario, that seems like another separate track of like the Mario series, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But it could all just be umbrellas, series within series.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I am going to go by the platformer realm, I think.
Okay.
Because I do have just really great core memories of playing those like 2-player platformer titles. What was the most recent one? Is that Super Mario All-Stars? Or no? What was that one called? Yeah, Wonder. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like just had so much fun going through and collecting all the stars and stuff with Shay, and even the one on the Wii. She had that version when we first started dating, and like we played that a lot together. But then I'm also going back to like the SNES era and like going to my uncle's house and playing his old his consoles, and that was like just early core gaming memories for me. So yeah, I absolutely have on that list. And I mean, I can just say now that would be on my number 10, like at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've kind of fallen out of love with the Mario titles as of late, where they don't have the same, no pun intended, wonder for me as much as they used to. But then I still get like the odd game that just blows my mind.
You still loved Wonder, right? And that was like last year.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe a better way to say it is like I don't get excited for the next Mario title. It's mostly
right. You're not like I need to play every game in this
exactly.
series.
I'm still a Switch 1 owner. I haven't raced to get Switch 2. Although, is there a new Mario game on the Switch 2? Not yet, right?
Just Mario Kart.
Just Kart. Okay.
Yeah. And then
the carts aren't even on my list, so there you go.
Someone in the Discord was saying that Donkey Kong Bonanza is part of the Mario series. Strong disagree from me. That's to me like a big difference there. But if you are one of those people, maybe there is a new Mario on the Switch too. But I also, it's funny that you mentioned that. To me, that was another factor. Is like with this series, and it could be historical. Like for example, Call of Duty, not a series that I clamor for anymore. I play Warzone every once in a while, but even then it's been a while. But I'm not like, I need to play every new Call of Duty, and I don't really care much for the series anymore. But it has had a huge historical part in my life, and I've played a bunch of those games. And so that's tricky too, because like I feel like for a series right now where it's like, I'm 100% buying whatever is the next game in this series, just blind, that obviously to me is a sign like, okay, that's probably a top 10 series for me when I was squaring it all off. But something like Call of Duty is like another weird one where it's like, okay, well, I'm not really in that headspace anymore, but I still have a lot of love for like at least 3 or 4 of these games, and then even like another handful of them on top of that. And I've just played so many. Like I've probably played more Call of Duty games than all except like 1 or 2 series on my list, just by virtue of how many of those games there are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that one, that one's weird too. Like comparing it to that Mario stuff of like, okay, there's obviously like the Black Ops series within the series, but to me, all the Call of Duties except for like the mobile one or whatever are all one series. So I don't know. It is hard to kind of separate some of these things sometimes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like we just have to be specific with what we're when we come across those ones that are a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What were some other? I mean, Zelda is another thing where it's like, okay, do you do the 3D ones, like the top-down ones? Are they all part of the same, even though they're not really sequels very often? Like there is a couple sequels, like Breath of the Wild and the Tears of the Kingdom. To me, that all still does feel like the same series, though, except for like Link's crossbow training and weird spin-offs and things like that.
Yeah, I encompass all of those, like even the DS ones and even like certain titles that maybe I haven't gotten to because they are just on different consoles that I have access to. I just feel like the Zelda franchise as a whole is just special enough to me to, warrant for me to just blanket all of them in there, like not. Well, I guess Link's crossbow training, yeah, I could leave that one off. But just at the end of the day, Zelda titles as a whole, I think that would be my kind of definition for that. And spoiler, that might be on my list somewhere also.
Yeah. And it's funny, one of the other lists that we were considering doing for today was ranking our top trilogies. And that also kind of connects with this in some way, where I was thinking about like, with Halo, like is 1, 2, and 3 like that is a trilogy, but then like it keeps going, and then there's like ODST, which is like a spin-off of 3 that has like a second disc with maps for Halo 3. So it's like I like that was something I was thinking about too, is like games that have more than 3 games, because there's a couple on my list here that are like, yeah, there's only 3 games in this series. Is that enough? Is that enough juice for it to be a top 10 series thing, or does there need to be just like quantity? So I don't know. I'm like I said, I still don't actually have my list figured out, so it's going to be very off the cuff of what makes it in the list at the end of the day. But do you want to start with honorable mentions, or do you want to do honorable mentions when we're done the top 10?
Maybe I'll leave them at the end actually, because I might even just, yeah. I might even think of some along the way that I haven't warranted on my list. So
okay, yeah, sounds good. I like that idea. So kick it off, Kirkland. What is your number 10? You already kind of said, but maybe you changed it already. So what is your number 10 favorite game series?
Yeah, no, I mentioned it already. I'm gonna put the Mario platformer titles specifically in here. Yeah, I kind of already talked about it, but just early memories. Although I didn't own a Nintendo device like early on, still new, like had neighbors, my cousin and my uncle had one, so like just everybody had the Nintendo system, and like that was the era where Nintendo was just the king of kings when it came to consoles. And yeah, it was just very simple formula, and I feel like whether I was playing like a mini clip flash game that was just like a rip off of Mario, like it just seemed like that was kind of the blueprint for a long time, and they just did so well, and then leads into something like Super Mario Maker, which is just insane that some of the creatives can get going on with just what they can do on making maps and have different retro styles on them, and yeah, just keep into like that same blueprint structure. I feel like although platformers aren't like my main genre, I still just have such a special place in my heart for the reason, like with Mario's, and then also just like Flash game. I feel like there's so many Flash games that were platformers, and I do believe that kind of my love for that stems from my early exposure to the Mario games. And yeah, love like the co-op addition to it. I think it fits so well. I really hope Nintendo doesn't really get away from that. Like they always stick to what kind of got them going, and you can still modernize it. Super Mario Wonder did such a great job with that, of just the little animation details. Like it was just really, really cute game that was pretty simple, but like still they added some modern twist to it. So yeah, Mario platformers is my number 10 favorite gaming series, franchise, whatever we're calling these. I guess series.
I'm going series. I like the word series a bit more. Yeah. I was just counting mine to make sure I'm not accidentally having 11 on my
I
list.
had 2 8s on here. That's why I was panicking for a second. So not only like 2 10s where like I have to like completely rearrange my list now, but
my downfall is I don't even have numbers on mine. I just have to raw count them every time. Okay, I think I got my delineations here. All right, number 10 for me. I'm gonna go with one that is kind of a newer. How should I word this? I guess it's some of the games that I've played more recently that I've put on the list, but I have been playing it for like 15 years now, and I'm gonna go with Resident Evil. So obviously this journey for me with Resident Evil has largely been covered on Sidequest as I picked up 7 a year or two after it came out, but mostly with Village, and really enjoyed Village, and that's what kind of prompted me to go back and check out the remakes for 2, 3, and 4 when that one came out. Then I've even gone back and played a couple of the older ones, the tank controls ones. I'm not as big of a fan of those, but and Resident Evil 5 was one I played back in the day with my cousin, just like co-op shooter, good times, 1,000 gamer score achievements, doing everything in it. And so I haven't played that game in a long time, but I think that's why if it weren't for playing Resident Evil 5 back in the day, I don't think this would be on my list because it still feels a little fresh. Maybe I'd need a couple extra games, but like no, Resident Evil 5, that was like 15 years ago now, and I loved the game back then, and I'm still loving the series now. So to me, it has that longevity. So yeah, I loved 5 back in the day. I really love 8. I love 4. I think 2 is really great. 3 is okay. Had a decent time with that one, and then 7. It's like I just respect it so much because it scared me so much that I couldn't finish it, as I've talked about before. But yeah, I just love the. I think when I really got into the series recently, I was surprised at how campy and over the top and goofy and cheesy action horror vibes it is. It's just got such a unique tone. The characters are very iconic. It has a lot of recurring. It has a lot of tropes. It's a very tropey series, but it kind of knows what it is. And I feel like even with the new one coming out, Requiem, it feels like it's maybe trying something a little bit different. And I feel like a lot of the series has. Some of them are more actiony. Some of them are more horror-like. You have first person. You have third person. I think this new one is like both day one. You can just play third or first person, whatever you want to do. And yeah, there's like spin-offs too that I've had a good time with as well. So yeah, I just I've really fallen in love with this series. I don't know if I'm day one on Requiem just because games are so expensive these days and I gotta really pick and choose. But I really do want to pick it up, and I might just impulse buy it because I'm just so into the series right now. So yeah, shoutouts to Resident Evil, which kind of just barely squeaks on there, but I'm really happy with it, and I think my love for the series is just going to grow more over time as I replay these games again, as I play some new ones as they come out, as I check out the ones that I've missed. So yeah, big shoutouts to Resident Evil.
Nice. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another franchise I got to explore more, but it's a little scary for me. So we'll wait before I get
I'm
there.
saying, man, a lot of them just dumb, bro-y action movies.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
Yeah.
And when you turn down the difficulty, you don't feel like any little
easy
mistake
mode,
that you make
cruising,
is
yeah.
gonna screw yourself over.
Exactly.
Okay, number 9. This one may surprise you, may not. I don't know. Big part of my early PC gaming times. I have the Half-Life series here.
Oh, that does surprise me. In the best way
Yeah.
possible. I love that.
So I fell in love with these games like when I first discovered what Steam was. Like I think I had like it was like a neighbor or someone that like had a Steam account, and he was just showing me like the classic like Counter-Strike 1.6, Half-Life, like Left 4 Dead I think was in there. Like it was just like the early Valve title. There might
all
even be
those
earlier
Source
ones,
Engine
but
games, yeah.
yeah, just the ones that I was exposed to. I think Gary's Mod was one of them also. And it's funny how like that's just like the Mount Rushmore of like the early stages of Steam, where Steam is just like evolved into what it is now. But yeah,
Now they have
was
their own machine.
Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting the Steam machine, the new Xbox equivalent, but even better. But anyways, yeah, no, I think it was where like he came over and he like logged into his account, so I had like access to like a couple of his games that I would just like power through, and Half-Life was one of them. And I fell in love with these series. Fast forward to when I actually got my own Steam account. I had Half-Life, I had Half-Life Blue Shift, Half-Life Opposing Force. I think there was one more in like kind of the offshoots of that first game, which was really, really cool because you play as like a character while you have your main protagonist going along. So you kind of cross and like meet at various points, which is really cool. And just at that time,
nice.
yeah,
like
yeah,
it.
it's fantastic. And I just love the world building of those games. Really, really just scared the shit out of me also back then. It's funny, you look at like some of the screenshots and just like the pixelated graphics are just so terrible in comparison to modern day standards. But at the same time, I feel like that added to the scariness, and just the audio effects of those games just stuck with me so many dark corridors, and by the end of the game, it's just so trippy. Like the places that you go, it just starts as like a just immersive sim, like horror sci-fi shooter. And then by the end, it's very sci-fi, and it's fantastic. I highly recommend to everyone experiencing Half-Life. And now they have, I think it's called Black Mesa. It's like somebody made a mod of the original game, and it looks gorgeous now. So it's a little bit more modern take of it. But then, didn't just stop there. I played the shit out of Half-Life 2 also, and absolutely love that game so much. It felt like going from like Halo 2 to Halo 3. And like, kids these days might not realize how much of a jump that is. But man, I remember going to my friend's house and seeing Halo 3 and just the shadows that they had on like Master Chief and the textures on him. Yeah. I'm like, man, this is modern gaming here. This is insane. And going from Half-Life 1 to Half-Life 2, it's just such a graphical jump. Again, it's nothing to today's standards, but at the time it was very special. And I just fell in love with that world. And I feel like a lot of these older picks are kind of like the foundation for just my overall what I just got enjoyment out of gaming wise. So yeah,
nice.
There you go, Half-Life. Haven't played Alex. That's still eluding me. That's the VR one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely got my eyes on this new Steam VR headset. If the price is right, so if I ever do get that, you should definitely borrow it at some point and play through Alex. But Okay, so I want to ask you about this because me and Travis were talking about this, I think it was last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, where, people have always wanted Half-Life 3. I don't know if there's been anything substantial there, but like the rumors have been swirling. And
for decades they've been swirling.
Yeah, Travis said that on the episode, and I was like, no, it's not. Half-Life 3 is not coming out. People have been saying that for 20 years. And then we did a pizza bet on the spot. And then I went on the internet and I was like, oh, yeah, there's rumors swirling everywhere. Maybe I shouldn't take this pizza bet. But already there was like, everyone was theorizing last week at some point they were going to announce it because it was like an anniversary or something. And that date passed and no announcements. I'm like, okay, maybe this, I mean, it's just a pizza. Who really cares? But at least my side of the bet is still potentially on. But Kirkland, if that happens, can we do a Half-Life retrospective?
Oh, please. Absolutely. Those are the types of games, too, where that's like a reasonable... Like, there's multiple titles, but the sub-games, like I was mentioning, Blue Shift, Opposing Force, those are like couple hours long. They're really not that long. And then the base game isn't really that long. So
would those be just like DLCs? Like, here's like 2 new levels, I guess?
They were standalone games, like when because I believe I bought Blue Shift before I even bought the first game, because that was like the first Steam game I ever acquired when I got the courage to ask my mom for a credit card. And yeah, so
I mean, there was an anniversary edition that released like a year or 2 ago, so I'm guessing that just like bundles everything in one.
Probably, yeah. I would definitely make that assumption. And like those old games too, you have to like kind of change your graphical settings, otherwise you just can't play it on modern systems.
Okay, maybe that anniversary version then. And I think it's pretty cheap. I think it's like $20 or something. Like they didn't, not like $90 for this new version.
But that'd be so fun. That'd be so great. I would be totally.
And then,
that.
because I'm just on the Wikipedia. There's Half-Life 2, and then there's Half-Life 2 Episode 1, Episode 2. What? So what is that like a DLC? What's going on there?
That's kind of like a Death of the Outsider type thing. I if I remember correctly, you're still like the same protagonist. Gordon Freeman, I think is his name. Something like that. But
Jim. Is he Jim? Jim. Definitely Gordon.
Gordon.
Like
yeah. I just remember that creepy scientist guy just calling you Gordon. Gordon, hit the button. Gordon.
Gordon Freeman. You were right.
There you go.
Yep.
A theoretical sounds like a made up name. Oh yeah, absolute badass.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely their own little DLC type games. I think I might have missed one. I think I only played because it's like the Lost Coast. Is that what it's called? Or something like that. So
overall, Half-Life 1 had Opposing Force, Blue Shift, Decay. I don't know if you've mentioned. Did you play Decay?
I don't remember Decay. I should.
Okay. Then there was Half-Life
make sure.
Source, and I don't know if that. I don't know what that might just.
That was like a better version.
An updated engine kind of thing, a remaster.
It was like CS 1.6 to CS Source.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then there's Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 Deathmatch was like there's a multiplayer thing. There's Half-Life 2 Lost Coast. There's Deathmatch Source, so an updated thing, and then there's Episode 1, Episode 2, and then of course Alex 13 years later. So a lot of stuff going on there, but that's a huge blind spot thing for me, because I've definitely booted up the games because I had the orange box back in the day. But yeah, I don't think I've never like rolled credits on them, but like it is 100% my jam, my kind of game, and I love those old Valve Source games. So I don't know why I haven't done it yet, but yeah, I feel like Half-Life 3, that will be a good kicker to really do that retrospective. So I think I'm looking forward to that one. That'll be a good time when we finally get to it, and maybe 2 years from now it'll be in my top 10 series of all time.
I hope so. I think it might. I think it has potential. Like it's one of those things where I think nostalgia is a big factor for it. Like maybe if you haven't played it back then, you'll be like, oh, I played games like this. Well, yeah, obviously this was the blueprint, you know. Half-Life had to crawl so all these games could walk.
Okay, next up for me, number 9 for me, I'm gonna go with not Mario platformers. I'm just gonna go with Mario Kart. And now that I think about it, I don't think I have Mario platformers in my top 10. And I think that for me, that is kind of what I said earlier. Of I would need a couple 3D, I would need a couple like 2D. Mix them up, you know. I would need like Super Mario Bros. 3, and I would need Mario 64, at least in the mix. And for me, those are like kind of different. I could just bundle them, but you know what? I'm not going to for today. I'm happy that you have it on your list. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Mario Kart because this is like a series that I pretty much just always pick up the latest one. You know, there isn't really much going on with the Switch 2 launch lineup, but so yeah, I definitely want to play the new Mario Kart. Played a ton of 8, and I think I own every single one of them except for like Super Mario Kart on the SNES because I don't have that console. But yeah, otherwise I've played like every single game in this series, even like a bit of, you know, the mobile one. I think I've even played the arcade game one that they have. So this might be the series that I have like the greatest coverage of, other than like, you know, a series that only has like 2 or 3 games in it. And you know, I just love Mario Kart. As a favorite for me as a kid, Mario 64 on the N64, or going over to friend's place and playing Double Dash. You know, a ton of Mario Kart Wii back in the day. Mario Kart 8, you know, a game I've been playing for like over a decade now between the Wii U and the Switch, and getting all the DLC maps in there. And yeah, Mario Kart World, which I played again last week when I had a friend hanging out at my place. And you know, I love that game too. I definitely think it could use a few more courses, at least compared to 8, which has just a million maps in it. But I really love these games. I think for the most part they are kind of the same every time around, but you know, every once in a while you get a couple new innovations, or you have a Double Dash, which is kind of a weird pivot in the series. And yeah, it's just always fun, always like, you know, for friends of mine who are not as much of gamers, it's like, yeah, Mario Kart. Everyone can play Mario Kart, so it's always just one of those go-tos. But it still has that depth to it. So yeah, big fan of Mario Kart.
Yeah, absolutely. Who isn't? It's such an easy game. I feel like so many people got exposed to that game like super young. It's the classic. Like just give it to the young kid and they can pick as their favorite Mario character, and just especially now they have auto drive and stuff like that. Like it's even just more accessible to younger audiences. Sure. So I feel like that is one that kind of gets the gaming bug on people early, because you know that's their exposure. And a lot of non-gamers I feel like have played Mario Kart. Plenty drinking games around Mario Kart. Like it's just the thing that we grew up with. So yeah, good pick.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I decided to leave off the Mario Karts. I chose the one Mario franchise with the platformers there. But we're on number 8 now, correct? Okay, number 8. This was a tough one for me. I originally had it on my honorable mention, but I honestly played too many of these titles to not have it on here, and I still am a fan of these of these games. I haven't played all of them, and I know exactly what I'm getting into when I get into them. So it's almost like a guilty pleasure game at this point. But man, are these games still fun? I'm putting the Far Cry series here. And I am going to include Far Cry Primal, even though it's a very different game.
Oh, yeah.
Engine, it plays the exact same. It doesn't matter if you have a sniper rifle in your hand or a bow, or if you're tossing rocks because you're a caveman. It's basically the exact same game. You're still looter, shooter. You know, you're going to quest markers and doing your thing. But man, if I just want like a shooter to go in there, like free world, like hell yeah. I think the first one I played was actually Far Cry 1, so I'm kind of an OG fan. I can safely say Far Cry 1. Wow, easy for me to say. Far Cry 1 at my cousin's house on his Xbox. Far Cry 2 on the PC, I think, and then later on Xbox 360. Bought that game twice.
2 is great, man. That game is so cool.
So good. And like, man, at the time, it was just so ahead of the game, where you could actually jam your gun in Far Cry 2. Like your gun would get dirty. that was like, man, next gen gaming there. It was so inconvenient and it would happen way too often.
Yeah.
But still, at the time, crazy that you could do
Yeah,
that.
not
So
until
so
the
immersive.
PS5 adaptive triggers did we get back to
Yeah,
for like 2
absolutely.
games, and then no one's ever done it again.
Far Cry 3 also was just such a big game when that one dropped with the wonderful villain. It had like one of the coolest trailers ever. And that was back when E3 mattered. So when that trailer played at E3,
Yeah.
man, holy shit, people got goosebumps.
You know the
And,
definition of insanity.
and then Far Cry 4 also played the absolute shit out of. I love that one in Nepal. So fantastic. And then
Yeah.
later on, I ended up playing Far Cry 5 and haven't played New Dawn yet. I don't know if I will. I feel like it's very similar to 4, or sorry, 5, but
New
who knows?
Dawn
Maybe
is
I will.
not 6, right? Because you've also played 6, right?
I've dabbled in 6 a little bit, and yeah, really fun. Again, it just like keeps building upon like the structure of what the other games are, but man, it's perfect. Like they know what they're doing, so like why try and reinvent the wheel? So I totally appreciate the Far Cry series, and I like the fact that they're still going. So yeah, Far Cry, just blanket.
Hell yeah. That's good. Okay, my next one might be a bigger one. So let's take a quick break. Let's catch our breath. Let's thank our wonderful Patreon producers, Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superbad Mike, TGGLM69, Charlie Rendell, Cocktail Clay, John with no H, and Sam Green. You know, I feel like this topic is a perfect one for everyone to hit up the Discord afterwards and let us know what your top series are, because I definitely want to hear what that is. So if you're in the Discord, drop it. If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord and then drop it, because I'd like to see that. But yeah, thank you to all of our Patreon producers who keep the lights on, keep the microphones recording, keep the Wi-Fi powered, all that good stuff. Yeah, the Patreon, it is a great place to go. You can support us for even a small amount. It is oodles and oodles more powerful support than just listening on like whatever YouTube or a streaming service, whatever it is. You get tons of stuff, a lot of episodes early, ad-free exclusive things. You get to vote on content that we will then make in the future, such as the Minecraft retrospective / review that you guys made us do, and we happily obliged. So talking about some video game stuff there. And yeah, next year we're even doing more with the Patreon. We're having more exclusive episodes up there, more fun topics, things you haven't seen before. So it's always going to be a good time. So yeah, go check it out. Go support us if you want. And yeah, again, please join the Discord. Let us know your top 10. You can also do it in a review. Why not do that? Why not go to iTunes and leave a review, a nice 5-star review, and put your top 10 favorite series in there. I'll shout it out on the next episode. That would be a good time. But let's, if you're on Patreon, you don't have to listen to this ad. But if not, you do. So here we'll jump to a quick ad break, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. We are on number 8, Kirkland. My number 8 is a little old series that maybe you've heard of, that maybe has a new game coming out next year, unless it gets delayed for the 28th time. But I'm going with Grand Theft Auto, which is one that I kind of struggled with the placement on this, because I love GTA 4. I love GTA 5, 2 of my all-time favorite games, somewhere in my top 30 or something like that. Not in my top 10 in terms of overall favorite individual games, but just, so much fun playing those games. And, played some San Andreas at friend's house growing up, played like a little bit of Vice City growing up. Recently, just like a couple months ago, I played GTA 3 for the first time and played through that whole thing. And, it's a fine game. So yeah, it's like, I really just have 2 games that I absolutely love from here, but I do feel like Vice City and San Andreas are kind of blind spots that I need to go back to, and I'm definitely going to do at least Vice City, play through that before GTA 6 comes out. And then assuming GTA 6 is this great, amazing game that it's being chalked up to be, I feel like if anything, that'll cement this as being a top 10 series for me, with having a new game in there. But even GTA 5 kind of feels like 2 games in one, because you had the single player, which is massive, and then the multiplayer, or GTA Online specifically, which just had tons of stuff, and I played for a long time before kind of dropping off eventually. So just, for me, I do love the story of 4, and I like playing through the story modes and the campaigns and seeing all the missions. But for me, it's just screwing around in these worlds, having these sandboxes, using cheats to get all the crazy shit going on, the funny anecdotes. It's one of the best, like, hand off the controller games that exists of all time. Like, it's traditionally a single player game, not much split screen going on. I mean, some of them do have, like, I think San Andreas had that and stuff, but like it's just one of those games that's just fun as hell to play with your friends. And yeah, we were planning on doing a fun bit on the 24-hour stream where we kind of just, do some 5 stars, who can survive the longest kind of things. We want to do it though with GTA 6 though, hopefully. So we'll see. Maybe next year. Well, I guess that's not coming out until after the stream now, but who knows? Something to do, have some fun doing that in the future, because I haven't done that in a while. I haven't sat on the couch with a friend and just played GTA in a long time. And it's honestly been, like, other than, GTA 3, it's been a while since I've booted up 4 or 5 even. So just, eternally extremely fun series. What else you got to say? It's kind of got it all. Kirkland, I'm assuming this is on your list somewhere. I'm not going to ask you to spoil your list now, but I do feel like you have GTA coming up. We'll see if that's the case.
I might just be crazy if I don't, but we'll see if I am crazy when we get there. If we get there, I should say. Fantastic. Well said, sir. I like your reasoning.
Yes, for sure.
For number 7 now, moving down the list, I got a pretty big Mucho Grande franchise here. Some people might think this is low, but you know what? It's on the list, so those people can quiet down. I'm coming in here with Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
I have not played all the titles in these games. I have not played arguably the most important titles out of these games. But that does not change the fact that I have fantastic nostalgic memories playing these titles. The two that I have not played, well, I've dabbled actually in both of these, but I've really not played them enough to like call myself an enjoyer of these games. 2 being Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I know. Blasphemy. I have not touched those titles that much. But for me, man, Wind Waker is just such a fantastic game, and I often think about that game. Like, it just comes into my head of just, like, again, really deep-seated nostalgic memories of over at my cousin's house when living in Alberta. Like, I would go there every summer, and I would just be so excited to, like, just see what new games he had on his GameCube. And going over there, he's got Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I love the art style. At the time, it just seemed so next gen, like the pastel-y, cartoony-ish factors of it. He also had like the game, like basically paper form wiki where it has like all of like the secrets and stuff in there. And
cool.
I just remember watching him play that and just like reading through and just like I don't know, it was just such a special. It's kind of similar to what you're talking about with GTA. Like, I just had so much fun playing that with friends, and not even just my cousin there. Like, whether it was playing Twilight Princess with at another friend's house. I've even played some of the handheld titles with Phantom Hourglass. Like, I love that game so much. It helps that it was similar, the same Toon Link world that I really loved. But Twilight Princess also is just such an, I don't even know if it's underrated, but I just don't really hear people talk about that game enough when they talk about Legend of Zelda, and it's just so dark and creepy and eerie in comparison to other actually Majora's Mask is pretty fucking terrifying also when I think about it. So I guess Zelda's always kind of had that dark creepiness to it, and yeah, no, I think just the whole setup of like the chosen hero, the princess, the big baddie that's just always there to just do his nefarious things. I just think it's such a special franchise, and there's a reason why it hasn't died off. Like it is just, well, probably because a lot of people grew up with those titles, so like the deep-seated nostalgia is there just at a grand level. But yeah, Legend of Zelda, man, it's I haven't played the recent, like the most recent one, but I'm sure I will at some point. It's just a really special franchise that I feel like I'd be doing a disservice, and I do really want to go through and like play Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and I think I know, like, I don't know, like the main hitters, but like pretty foggy on like the overall stories when it comes to the game. So I think I'll be able to play through them and still be pretty surprised with what's to come. The other one that I really want to try at some point, I never really got to because I think it was only on the Wii, was Skyward Sword. I heard the story of that was really, really fantastic, so I do want to cross that one off my list also at some point. But yeah, so there you go.
Switch now.
Legend of Zelda. Oh, nice, perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You probably told me that at some point.
Maybe. They have a lot of them on there. It's yeah. I mean, that's just the Switch in general. It just has so many games from all these Nintendo series. Yeah. I'm glad you have Zelda, because I don't. I don't have 2D Mario, and I don't have Zelda. So I'm glad that you're kind of representing that, because it
Nintendo.
Feels like, yeah, it's weird. Like I'm a big Nintendo guy, and I do have other Nintendo series on here, but I don't have the big 2, I guess. So that's just we have balance, as all things should be. But number 7 for me is gonna be I'm gonna go with the Fallout series. So obviously I'm a big Bethesda head. Maybe more Bethesda coming up later. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But I do love Fallout. For me, the entry point was, to some hardcore Fallout fans, they don't love to hear this, but for me, it was Fallout 3. That was the first one I played, or I remember just watching it first, like going to my cousin's house and like loving Elder Scrolls and be like, what the heck is this? What is going on here? It's very Elder Scrollsy in terms of like the exploration, the interactivity, but it's like a wholly different kind of world. And I feel like I haven't really, to that point in my life, hadn't really played a lot of like post-apocalyptic things, or maybe even seen a whole lot of movies. So it felt very fresh, even though it's like the least fresh and nasty kind of environment you can possibly imagine.
Very green.
Yeah. But I love Fallout 3. It's one I've played, and I even did like another playthrough like a year or two ago, and didn't beat the whole thing or anything, but played another quite a few hours of it. Really enjoyed that. And then for me it was Fallout New Vegas was the big one. Played through that game 3 or 4 times, like all the way to credits, playing through all these different things. It's funny, I was just looking at that on Steam, and like I've actually never played any of the DLC for Fallout New Vegas, even though there's like 6 packs for that. I just played through the base game that many times. That's how much content it had in it and variety and all that. And definitely with Fallout Season 2 on the horizon, I've been doing a little bit of rewatching of that first season, and I'm definitely itching for some Fallout stuff. And it's like, I don't know what to pick. Like, I want to go back and play more Fallout 3 because there's so many things I haven't seen in that game. New Vegas is always calling to me, especially with, I've never played these DLCs. And then Fallout 4 is a game that I did really enjoy. That was, one of the early podcast games that we talked about. And it's one I've not really revisited, sadly. But I feel like I definitely should. I did play some of the DLCs, so I guess I did revisit it for that. But I feel like I need another full playthrough of that game because I did really enjoy it. It didn't hit the same for me as 3 or New Vegas, but still do really enjoy it. And then, you know what? Sue me. I had a good time playing 76 for a little bit there. And it's been a long time since I've jumped back in there. And I would like to as well because I've added like 3 new cities. And I want to go screw around in Pittsburgh for a few hours. Why not? A series I enjoy. I've gone back and tried Fallout 1 and 2. And it's just old game old. It's hard for me to get into, which I feel bad about because I always want people to go back and give Morrowind a chance, even though it's old game old. But I've tried with Fallout, and I just don't understand the UI or how to do anything at all. So makes it hard. I think the other one that I'm missing is Fallout Tactics. I think I have it on Steam, and I love tactics games, and I love Fallout, so I feel like I should go play that because that just seems like my cup of tea. I'm sure it's also old game old, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I love me some Fallout. Love that it's getting a well-made TV series to just boost that lore up, and season 2,
totally.
New Vegas setting. So hell yeah, love me some Fallout. And definitely itching for a new playthrough of this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought about it, but I feel like I really just glossed over like the titles that I have played of those. Like Fallout 4, I played the shit out of, like you said, early podcast title. That was like the era where I think all of us got it. Maybe not Taylor. I think he skipped on that one, but I just remember talking about Fallout a lot at that time. And Fallout 3 was one of those games where I feel like it was just like a passing train for me, and I was just a little boy stuck on the platform that I just missed my train because I just saw so much like YouTube, like early YouTube era content for that game, like hearing about it, maybe going to a friend's house and seeing him play it. And I remember one time, very specifically, I have this memory. Me and my friend, shouts out to you, Quinn, if you're listening to this. We went to EB Games, and I don't know, we're like 14, something like that, and like just, this is so exciting, looking at the titles, and here I am holding Fallout 3 in my hand, and I'm like, man, like I'm finally gonna be able to play this game. This is so sweet. Go up there to the counter. Guy's like, no, can't sell it to you. You're not 17. This son of a bitch ID'd me in an EB Games. He's doing his job, whatever. I'll get over it. But man, that was just such like a veering of like a fork in the road where I feel like if he just allowed me to take that game,
I could have changed everything.
Like, because that would have been my first Fallout title I ever experienced. I really only experienced like Oblivion a little bit playing at my cousin's house. So that would have been like my first Bethesda exposure where like now my first real Bethesda like deep dive was Skyrim, and that's one of my favorite games of all time. So like I feel like Fallout 3 really could have been there if that gentleman would have just let me take the guy was probably like 17 also, just a little guy doing his job. But I digress.
That's a
but no.
crazy alternate reality for sure.
Yeah, there's a variant of me that just has Fallout 3 merchandise all around him, and it's just loving life, hopefully. But yeah, there you go. That's my little history with Fallout, and I do not have it on my list for those reasons.
Fair. We have very different lists so far, which I like.
It's fun. Yeah, I like it. Moving on down the road, I have an Xbox franchise, arguably the biggest Xbox franchise of all time. I got Halo here in the top 6. I'm a PlayStation boy, but man, I'd be lying if I wasn't exposed to Halo enough to warrant it being on this list here. I still have very vivid memories going over to a friend's house. Christmas break, it was in between Christmas and New Year's, and they just got the first Xbox. And I'm like, man, what is this system that you got? And I'm watching them play Halo Combat Evolved, and I am just so blown away because there's 2 brothers and they're playing together, co-op split screen campaign, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's got the most banger soundtrack I've ever heard up until that point. Sci-fi space shooter. It just looked so amazing, blew my mind, and I was hooked. I was so excited every time to be able to go to their house and to play some co-op. And that was the start. From that point on until past high school, everyone that I knew of the Halo franchise, and it was just such a core staple. Funny enough, I think the first Halo game I actually purchased was Halo Reach. Like, that was when I had like Xbox 360, I had Xbox Live, and that was the title I purchased. But I played all the titles. Hidalgo, he had all of them, so I'd always be at his house and playing through the campaigns, man. Like, just such fantastic memories. Haven't gotten to like 5, I don't think. I might have dabbled in 4 a little bit, so I definitely do want to cross over at least like Master Chief's story, because I think it continues on in 4. But man, just such a special franchise, and again, another one that's just so deep rooted in my DNA that I don't think I could really think about like gaming and shooters without mentioning Halo there. And although it's not my main franchise, I am a PlayStation guy. At the end of the day, Halo, man, it's special. It gave us a horrible TV series, but yeah, it's just great gaming memories.
Fun reviews
for sure. And and I wanted to mention Forge mode, because Forge mode is just fantastic. So many great late nights playing some Forge mode with the boys.
Yeah, hell yeah. Maybe we'll see Halo again on another list. Remains to be seen. Number 6 for me, I'm going to go with another one that's pretty recent for me. Well, recent in one way, and that is the Tony Hawk series.
Nice.
And this is one I thought about too, of like, okay, well, obviously there's like the Pro Skater games. There's like 2 Undergrounds. Like, are these different series? Like, no, they're all Tony Hawk for me. There are like weird ones like Ride, like the one where you actually need the skateboard on the ground. Like, to me, that's like a spin-off offshoot. I don't know if that counts as like main series. And there was even like Motion on like the DS, which I think had like some weird fucking peripheral or something as well. And not all these games are great. And I just recently did a ranking of my favorite levels. I've talked about a ton on Sidequest, so I don't need to harp on too much here. And not all these games are great, of course, but yeah, played it like as a kid, just so much Underground, so much American Wasteland on the GameCube. Checked out a couple other ones, like had Pro Skater 2, I think, on the N64. And then just recently kind of rediscovering my love for this series and playing 1+2 and 3+4 and 5 and Underground 2. Like, just played a ton of Tony Hawk recently. And yeah, I love this series a lot. And it's funny when I compare it to Skate, like, I feel like maybe Skate's a tricky one, because like I'm just a Skate 3 guy. Like 97% of my time playing the Skate series is like one game, and so for me it's really not even a series. It's just like, yeah, I just love Skate 3 and I've dabbled a bit in 1 and 2. But yeah, Tony Hawk is a series that has all sorts of different games. Like even the one on the Wii, Downhill Jam, I loved that game too, and that was a totally different style. But yeah, just a great series, extremely fun, really challenging. And yeah, it's like I've had love with it recently, and I loved it as like a kid when I was like 7 or 8 years old. So it's just, again, has the longevity, even though I had like a long break in the last decade not playing a ton of it. But yeah, shout outs to the Tony Hawk series.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not surprised that you had it on there, just because, you've been talking about them.
The recency for sure.
Yeah, recency. This is one that honestly, it was amongst the earlier ones that popped in my head when I was thinking about my favorite franchises. And I won't lie. I feel like my recent slapping that I received from Tyler Saris and the Gauntlet kind of like brought this franchise down a little bit for me.
Yeah.
Because I was very much a casual Tony Hawk player, I realized. It helps that I play these like early gaming with my cousin where I really didn't know anything about like doing anything min-max or like maximizing your scores.
Yeah.
We would just probably put on cheats and go around and just do infinite grinds and whatnot. But still one that is close to my mind just because I played so many of them, the early pro skaters, but then like Thug is the big one for me growing up. But even American Wasteland and all those, I feel like I kind of dabbled in all of them. Another one that just kind of, it was a series that kind of grew up around us also. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it there, but fortunately not on my top 10. If I would have won that game, maybe it would have been on
Maybe.
there.
Again, it's like the Fallout thing, like just alternate universes. One butterfly effect moment could have changed everything.
Could have been Tyler Saris that didn't
But you know
sell
what?
me Fallout 3 way back in the day.
Yeah, it's true. I like that our lists have a lot of different things. Now, I do feel like that is going to change in the next couple games here, but so far I like that we've had variety, so I think it's good.
I have a good feeling it's still going to be different here because I don't think you have dabbled in this franchise here that I'm about to mention. Another deep-seated nostalgic pick for me. I'm going with the Sly Cooper series here.
Nice.
Sitting at number... Yeah, we're on 5. Okay, perfect. I didn't miss one. Yeah, I feel like this series, I still think it holds up. I think it's such a special, like cute, fun, like really like just fun comic humor mixed with just great stealth elements. They're not super like in depth to today's standards, but I feel like just for at the time, it was so unique being able to like even just manipulate like field of views to like approach people to pick pockets and stuff like that. This is very clearly to me like a big reason why I just love stealth games like overall, which is amongst like my favorite genre. Like if I'm playing RPGs, I feel like I naturally just tend to like a stealthy type character. I'm thinking of the Thievius Raccoonus, Sly Cooper himself, the master of stealth. I love all the characters also with Murray, or oh my god, Franklin. I think that doesn't sound right.
I
now.
can't help you here with the characters from Sly Cooper. Sorry.
But yeah, I think they're just really great world building, very colorful characters, whether it's the villains or whatnot. Like everybody's just a different animal, and they're just like very chaotic type villains. And yeah, really, really great series. I think there's great story elements. There's like reoccurring villains and just like very complicated like intermingling of like anti-hero characters that evolve with the franchise. So it's kind of got it all. And for that being the PS2, like it's just such a special franchise. I never ended up playing 4, so I do still want to cross it off my checklist. I think it's Thieves in Time is what it's called. But no, highly recommend the first 3, if anything. Really, I think you could skip 1 just because it's the most like early arcade type style, whereas the second one feels a lot more open world. And that's really when it got going. And 3, it just built like 3 is where you could play as all the characters, whereas the first... Actually, no. In the second one, you could play as all the characters, and I think about it. But yeah, Sly Cooper, fantastic series, and highly recommend.
Yeah, I definitely need to jump into that. It's a lot of them, if not all of them, are on the PlayStation catalog. So at some point here, I'll jump in there, check them out.
Hell yeah.
Soon enough. Okay, number 5 for me. I'm curious if this is on your list just because of the lack of number of games in the series. But it's a little game, a little series that we both love, a little one that we did a retrospective on. Of course, I'm bringing in Dishonored here from Arcane Studios. So the only reason I debated this is because like, okay, there's two and like a half games in this series, right? So it's kind of short in that way. Now, Death of the Outsider is like a great game. It is a shorter game, but it is still like a fully fledged game to its own extent. But I also compare this to like Spelunky, for example. I don't have on my list. There's Spelunky 1, there's Spelunky 2. Technically, there's actually 3 Spelunky games. There is another one, but I don't really care much for the original one, like the prototypey sort of one. And it's like, okay, that has like the same amount of games as Dishonored, but for some reason Dishonored feels more like a series than like Spelunky does for some reason. So I really rattled around. And then Kirkland, this is the part that I need your advice on, because they do say that Deathloop is in the Dishonored universe. Does that count? I feel like I give it like half of a count
Yeah.
or something, which that adds a lot because I love that game a lot. So that adds a ton to like the Dishonored series, even if it's
Like, would that change
not
your number
named
ranking
Dishonored
though?
4 or whatever.
Would that change your number ranking if you have Deathloop on there?
No, ultimately I'm happy
Yeah.
with Dishonored being on here because like 1 and 2 are top 15 all-time
Yeah.
games for me, and Death of the
Yeah.
Outsider is, I don't know where I have it on my overall ranking, but it's in my top 100 still. Like I love those two games so much, and there's like the first game with its DLC that's like a ton of extra content and almost
Yeah.
feels like another 0.5, so it feels like there is enough there for sure. But yeah, if you do include Deathloop, that bumps it up. I mean, even Redfall like has a like it's seemingly in the same universe. There's like whale
Forgot about
oil
that
tanks
game.
and so many references. And you know what? I like Redfall. I had a good time playing Redfall.
Nice.
It's not a great game, but I just love Arcane so much that I still had enough enjoyment with it. So I'm not counting Redfall. I'm maybe sort of counting like 25% of Deathloop. But even if it's just Dishonored 1 and 2 and Death
Yeah.
of the Outsider, fuck yeah. Like I love those games so much. Obviously we did multiple episodes covering all of them, but it's the freaking vibes, it's the music, it's the insanely good level design, it's the great story and characters, it's like this gameplay that you can play over and over again, and the consequences to your actions, and like I love that each of the games, you know, you play as Corvo, and then you can play as Dowd, and then you can play as Corvo or Emily, and then you can play as Billy, and each one of them has like this different flavor, and it just flushes out the world. I love the lore of Dishonored as well, and like the people that have been marked and the Outsider and all this freaky weird stuff. Just such an unbelievably great series, and yeah, I do hope we get a new one at some point in our lifetimes. I think that is likely. I think we will get a new one at some point. I think it might take a while because obviously we have Blade. One of the arcanes got shut down, so it might take a while, but I think at some point we will have a new entry in this series. Or, you know, Deathloop 2, I'll take it and just make it more connected to Dishonored. But yeah, I love this series, and if you want to hear more about that, there's several episodes in a ranking all about my favorite moments and our favorite stuff from that beautiful series.
Yeah, I am glad that you brought it up here because my next pick is Dishonored, actually. So here we go. We're going back to back.
Beautiful.
So I'll just lead into my number 4,
That's gorgeous.
which is the Dishonored franchise. I didn't have Deathloop in there because I didn't really think about it being in the same world, and although it is in the same world, I feel like it plays very different, so maybe I wouldn't include it, but I do like your 25% inclusion factor in there. For me, if it's on there or if it's not, I think I still have it in the same location though. Yeah, it's only a handful of games, but like sometimes quality over quantity, man. And I feel like this is a franchise that very much has it for me. It's also one that I might have argued to just put it on there before I even played Dishonored 2 or the later titles because I just love that first game so much, including the DLCs. Like it just took over my life. I feel like because Dishonored came out, I feel like I got really excited for the E3 trailer. It looked really cool. Reminded me of BioShock. Reminded me just what I love about stealth games, just to another level. Eventually got it on the PlayStation, had a great time. I think it was PS3 era. It was fantastic. But my eyes really were just awakened when I acquired it on PC and just really just kept replaying levels or maybe just sequences of like getting really creative with kills and just redoing that and like reading a lot more of the notes and really just getting fully immersed in the world, doing the multiple playthroughs. That was when I would like try and get all the trophies too. So I'm doing like all the different endings and just doing all the unique things. One of them, I remember the hard one or hardish one to get, it was like kill like, I don't know, 8 people in less than a second. So like you just really have to like get better with the time manipulation.
Great
and like
achievement lists.
Yeah, fantastic. And that's just the first game. And then of course we went through the Arcane Retro, you, me, and Dante, and I was again rebirthed with Dishonored 2, and that's still a game that I feel like it's almost like my PlayStation era of playing Dishonored 1, where like I played it, I loved it, it was so fantastic, but that was like first playthrough, and now I got to go through and like really just live in the worlds. But yeah, no, it's like a perfect evolution of I think like what I want out of a first person stealth game. I probably didn't really play too many first person stealth games, at least to that level where you have like a knife as well as powers and a blade. Like it was just so unique. Love the world. This is also a franchise, specifically the first game, that I just every once in a while I'll just get like a Dishonored 1 guard quote in my head
Yeah.
gather for whiskey and cigars tonight.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You'll never sneak past me. like just all of these lines that come in my head. I'll be working away, and I'll just hear like the whistle or something by a guard, and I'm like, man, yeah, like it's that thing. It's deep seated in me. I love that franchise so much, and
it infects the bones for sure.
It really
goes
does.
Deep. Yeah.
Absolutely, it does. Great aesthetic, great character, great like voice casting list. Yeah, just so much good stuff. And that's one that like now that I'm fully caught up in the whole series, man, I hope we get another game because that's gonna be such a hype reveal if we get that. That's obviously a day oneer for the two of us, and that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful series that is. Okay, number 4 for me. I like this. We kind of had some synchronicity because my next one is Halo, which you've already shouted out. Was that number? Was that your?
That
6?
was number 7 for. Oh no, that was number 6. Yeah.
I think it was 6. Yeah, so we're pretty close on these two series here for us.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, so much of what you've already said for me, it's definitely that original trilogy. Playing 1 and 2 split screen. I still have the distinct memory of like playing it at my friend's house, and the Xbox was in his older brother's room, so we'd like be sitting on the floor playing through
classic
Legendary, late into the night. I don't know where his brother was, but he definitely was not playing with us. But playing that campaign over and over again, screwing around in some of the maps, and just like, beating it on Legendary and all that difficulty. And then 3 was the first one that I owned myself, and yeah, that was like when you finally got Reach, when I finally got Halo 3, just endless, custom games late into the nights every weekend with the boys, making little maps of my own, role playing with friends, playing multiplayer, like whether it's competitive stuff, screwing around in a big team battle, and then just playing that campaign over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Legendary, skulls, getting the Hayabusa armor, getting every last thing you could do in that game, finding all the Easter eggs, all the weird little hidden stuff they have in like the Forerunner bases or whatever. And, it continued from there. Like, I enjoyed ODST. That's a game I actually really want to replay because I feel like the vibes of that seem like they're going to hit real different today. But obviously, I played mostly the multiplayer maps. Loved Reach as well. Had a great time with that. And then I kind of fell off for a bit. 4 didn't really do it for me. I still haven't played 5. But then I did have like a return to form. I've played a lot of Infinite, and I love that game. I think it's really great. I still haven't played the campaign, actually, just a ton of multiplayer. But I love Infinite as well, so it's been nice to have like a more recent thing, and every once in a while I'll just boot that up and just play a few rounds, and not anymore because Game Pass is $78 per month. But yeah, shoutouts to Halo Infinite and this series as a whole. It's been with me for a long ass time, and it means so many different things to me. It's just like it's a first-person shooter, but it's so much more than that, and I can't think of another first-person shooter that has just the amount of variety of experiences that Halo has given me. So yeah, we'll always love this series. Even like Halo Wars, that's fun too. I like some of that stuff. So yeah, shoutouts to Halo, just eternally amazing series.
Yeah, absolutely. Infected, like just great game modes.
Oh, yeah.
Man, the more I stew on this, I feel like it should be a little bit higher on my list, but I'm okay with it being 6.
Yeah.
You totally reminded me. Halo 3, that was the one that the last mission is you like just going. It's like you're driving on the Warthog like through just everything exploding, right?
I think so. I think that's
so I just totally forgot about this core memory, but shouts out to Hidalgo. Him and I, and same setup, absolutely. His Xbox was in his brother's room, so we'd be sitting on the floor in his brother's room. Yeah. His brother's nowhere in sight. We don't know where the fuck he is, but that would be the Xbox gaming session room. And we played through the whole Halo 3 campaign in one day. Like it was like a Saturday or something, probably after soccer. After soccer, I'd go to his house and we just play Halo. And I remember distinctly being like midnight, that mission's booting up, and he's like, this is the last mission of the game. And it was just so epic to be able to play through that, together. And especially that we did like the whole journey through the campaign. Yeah, special memories there. So shouts out to Halo.
Number 3, big 3.
Top 3, man. This is crazy. So obviously we got to have a big game here, big franchise in the top 3. And my number 3 game has 3 digits in its name. I got GTA here as my number.
I was having to find that one a bit, but I got you.
Yeah, for me, the reason why it's so high up on the list here is just the deep sea. Nostalgia is the word of the day for me when it comes to this list and my favorite franchises. But yeah, playing Grand Theft Auto with my cousin and my uncle. Or like probably played way too young, looking back on it, playing PS1 era, like the top down.
That
GTAs.
guy was right to not sell you Fallout at the store.
Absolutely. Well, my uncle was there. It was a parental guardian, so
Yeah.
it was fine. Even though still probably should have been playing. I actually remember him saying, "Don't let your mom know that you're playing this game." So there you go.
Right.
That was a good little whatever memory there. But yeah, I think I've played the vast majority of all like 90+% of all of these games. There's probably like the random little offshoot ones that I'm kind of forgetting about. Chinatown Wars, stuff like that. I think that is a standalone title, but yeah, I mostly played these with my cousin and my uncle up until GTA 4, I believe. So like they would have them, and then I'd go over to their house, and they would just have, and like me and my cousin would just hand off the remote. We knew like all of the cheats off by heart. We would have like our different weapon packs that I would know this one, he would know this one. And probably didn't beat a story of the game until like way later on when I was playing like GTA San Andreas on the PC.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have talked about it a little bit, but my GTA San Andreas multiplayer mod experience too was that's some of the best gaming time I've ever had in my entire life. That's like before the GTA 5 online. That was just good old PC modders back then, and I played the shit out of that. It was like a role playing world, so I'd be playing as like a cop and stuff like that, and that was like San Andreas era, so like just way before what they have now. But so much fun with that franchise. I think it's one of those things where like as long as I'm still alive, I'm probably always going to be buying the next GTA. Like I think it'll just always be following me wherever I go. It's just such a unique franchise that like Rockstar has able to just carve out for themselves. Like there is other sandbox open world games, but there's only one GTA. As weird as that sounds, but like that is like a true statement. So I think it's so fantastic. I think it's worthy of all the praise. I think it's worthy of being $120 or whatever the hell it is to come out if they're putting in billions upon billions of dollars to make it. Like it's just such a special thing. Yeah, but as a consumer, I don't like that price. But GTA, man, I love all these titles. Yeah, don't really have much more to say on that.
Great pick. Okay, let's get into my number 3 here. My number 3 is it is another Nintendo series. I'm going with Fire Emblem here.
Love
and
it.
This one definitely is. It is quality, of course, but it is also quantity. Like I think I've played 10 or 11 or 12 games in this series now. I think over 10. I think it is like 11 or 12, which is kind of crazy. You know, when I was going through this list, like how many games have I played, like all these games in a series? And like Fire Emblem is one that I've played so much of, even though those games are long. I've rolled credits on a bunch of them. Like I can't think of many other series that I've rolled credits on this many games in a series for. And yeah, it was the first tactics game I played. And I remember like the 1-2 punch of playing that on the Game Boy Advance and like loving that pixel art. First time playing a tactics game that isn't chess and being like, whoa, this is like the coolest thing ever. And then playing Path of Radiance on the GameCube and like the glow up that game had of like the visuals, the 3D, the freaking crazy like pre-rendered cutscenes on GameCube, it like blew my mind. And I think from that point on, I was like, okay, I am a Fire Emblem fanboy like till the day I die now. And that has mostly stayed the course. There's been a couple games where I haven't loved them as much. We talked about that even recently on our episode. We were talking about Fates and how it's not like our favorite. But like Awakening was a huge point in the series. Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, like that little duology there is great. I love Three Houses. And, you know, going back, playing like the other Game Boy Advance one, Binding Blade or Blazing Blade. I always forget what one it is, what the name is there. But yeah, I do love this series. I love that it has very distinct eras, like that Game Boy Advance trilogy era. The GameCube Wii game, which are a nice pairing together. That 3DS era, which is like huge. There's so many games in there, and then like this new kind of era of it with the Switch games, which are like also have like their different flavor to them. And yeah, like Fortune's Weave. Very curious to see what's going on there. It seems like there's some new, fresh things. This one is a series that doesn't have like as many spin-offs, but I have played like the 2 phone games that exist. I'm not a big fan of those necessarily, but for me, it's really like Sacred Stones and Path of Radiance, 2 of my favorite games of all time. And then even below that, 2 games that I love a lot, like throw Radiant Dawn in there, throw Three Houses in there, and Awakening. Like those are 5 amazing games, all part of the same series. Is pretty amazing. And there's even a couple other ones I enjoy on top of that. So this one definitely, I think the reason it's so high on my list is just because of quantity. You know, like I like almost every, you know, all Dishonored overall more than like these Fire Emblem games. But Fire Emblem, it's got the heat, man. It's got so many freaking games, so that just adds to the series ranking part of it. So yeah, shout outs to Fire Emblem. Definitely one of my all time favorite series, and I think always will be.
Worthy shout out.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it being on there.
Before we get into your number 2, Kirkland, how about we take our last ad break of the show? We'll be
Let's
right back to close it out with our 1s and 2s and our honorable mentions. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Kirkland, take it away. Number 2.
All right, number 2 here. A little bit of a 1-2 punch action. I have the franchise or game series known to many folks as Total War.
Okay.
Yes, just the one title. Total War, they've done their historical titles. They've also done their more fantasy titles, which I personally love, like the Total War Warhammer series, as well as Three Kingdoms. That one's a little bit more fantastical, although it still has a little bit more historical ties to make it more grounded. But yeah, no,
So
this is a
for
very
you, it's Total War as a whole.
Total
Or
War
is
as
it
a
just
whole.
Warhammer.
All of the titles.
Okay, gotcha.
I haven't played all of the titles, so I guess I could say all the titles I have played.
Yeah.
But no, this is an interesting franchise for me where although Total War Warhammer is like my top 2 or 3 games of all time, I can't remember which one it is on my list. It's definitely 2 or 3, but like although that game is my favorite at the moment and like at this later stage of my Total War experience, my journey with Total War actually started with the historical titles, specifically medieval. That was just like my first time seeing the Total War franchise and seeing like where you could have just thousands of units on an actual, because I grew up playing RTSs where you select 30 units max and that's kind of like your army, whereas in here you select one unit of 120 men and then you scale out and it's just like these massive slow paced battles that's just so different. I really rewire my RTS brain when I got into that, and I was so god awful at those games. I would pretty much just treat it like a turn based because I was so awful at the battles themselves. I would treat it like an RTS. I would just throw all my units at once, not really thinking about formations or anything like that. But I still just loved the element of like building up and like your kingdoms and just doing trade and marrying off people and doing like all of the different just like kingly type strategies that you'd be doing in that medieval era. And then like I felt like it was one of those franchises also, Total War being the one that like it doesn't matter if you're playing Attila or medieval or Shogun, Napoleon, like I feel like the main element of the game is there, so you could do pretty decent with like the campaign side. Like you might have to learn, I don't know, each of them have their own little tweaks to the mechanics and whatnot with politicking or whatnot, or maybe just trades. But the gameplay is so different amongst the two, like, and specifically on the battle side. So maybe like the campaign map is a little bit more interchangeable, but just like actually going on the ground with, like, let's say Attila, where cavalry is so strong, very, very fast-paced battles. What are they called? Horse archers are just like the god tier unit. Where like Napoleon, where you just have like musket lines, and like it just really changes the strategy, I think, that goes along with the game. So it's just such a special franchise to me that I feel like you get so much by only playing Total War games. It's not like you're just limiting yourself to only playing a very specific type of strategy. You really get just exposure to different wartime strategies. So yeah, I love the series so much. My favorite, obviously, is the Warhammer one. I could probably do like a tier ranking, honestly, of all the ones I played. Maybe I'll do that in a future episode at some time, because I think I've played at least 10 of them, so I could definitely do a top 10er. But yeah, no, I truly love those games, and really worthy of my top 2 there. And like also I've just found out that Medieval 2 has a plethora of fantastic like full overhaul mods where people like they'll just rework all of the armies so that it's like the Warcraft armies. So like like World of Warcraft, that era where like the different factions like Lordran and things like that, or not Lordran. That's a Dark Souls thing. I'm mixing up my worlds,
yeah.
but I'm a little unfamiliar, I guess, with the Warcraft citizens and whatnot. But still, there's just so many variations of the worlds that you can just get mods on there to change the whole game and whatnot. But really, really special franchise. And yeah, got exposed to it a really, really long time ago, and it's still with me today. And I feel like that's worthy of being on the top 2.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, number 2 for me is, I had Fallout already, and now I'm bringing another Bethesda series with, of course, the Elder Scrolls. One
Of course.
series that has been with me for a very long time because I played Morrowind at a very young age. Discovered that just kind of out of the blue and just blew my mind as a kid. And still to this day, game has never blown my mind in that same way of just like, whoa, I can walk anywhere. I can go in any building. I can pick up any object in any of these rooms. That's like a crazy level of detail. And I can talk to every single person, and a lot of them churn out the same messages over and over, but still, that's insane. And then it's a series that jumped up, and like I can distinctly remember Oblivion and seeing that for the first time and being blown away. Just like the visual quality of it, which is funny to go back on it now and be like, oh yeah, the lighting in that game sucks ass, but like, it still has a very special place in my heart. And then just like at that point after Oblivion, it's like, okay, now I'm following games more. I'm keeping a closer eye on things that are coming out. And yeah, like still Skyrim might be like the most hyped game release ever of my entire life. And, I still have a distinct memory of that first moment of hitting that play button for the very first time and then sinking hundreds of hours into it. And yeah, just like eternally replayable games. Anytime I've replayed Morrowind over the last few years, I discover new things I've never seen before. That's the case for Oblivion as well. It's the case for Skyrim. So much to do, and that's even like without mods. I'm not really a big mod guy, and I still just find endless things to do in those games. I have gone back and tried Arena and Daggerfall and struggle with like just, how dated they are to some extent, but I've still played a little bit of those. Played like all the spin-offs, like tried Elder Scrolls Online for a bit, played Legends, played Blades. I kind of want them to do a couple more spin-offs. I feel like there's more potential with Elder Scrolls, considering it takes so long to get like a main game in the series, takes so long to make one of those at this point. But yeah, just even between those 3 games, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, I mean, that is one of the... I don't know if you'd call it a trilogy in the sense that like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th game in a series, but still, I love those games so very much. Always will. Still waiting for Elder Scrolls 6. We'll see if that ever happens. But yeah, I mean, those 3 games alone is just unbelievable amounts of hype and hour count for me as well, of just raw gaming going on there. So
oh
yeah, Elder Scrolls, baby.
Heavy raw gaming. I like it. Oh yes, Elder Scrolls. What a fantastic franchise. I could not put it on my top 10 though. I had to be real with myself. This was honestly, I think I put it like number 2 when I was thinking of my initial list.
Right.
But then I really had to take a step back and like be real with myself. And it's like, man, no, you've only really explored Skyrim. And I know you've explored it a lot, many, many thousands of hours, but still, it's only the one title, not worthy of being just on the whole game series list. Still do really want to go through Morrowind, even Oblivion. Now they have the remaster, that's even easier to do nowadays. The modern playthrough there, but yeah, I just couldn't do it. I think it's just not enough exposure to the overall franchise, and that's that. So
I do. Let me throw a little pitch at you here.
Okay.
Because I was thinking about this because I do want you to play Morrowind, and maybe you've booted it up. I can't remember, but I was thinking maybe when Elder Scrolls 6 finally like has a release date and it feels tangible, like maybe we could do. I was thinking we could do 2 things. We could do a little intro episode where I literally an episode of the podcast where I just tell you how to enjoy Morrowind, like the things you should do.
That's a good idea.
How to play it, the kind of class to make.
Yeah.
Just little things that are really unintuitive if you go back to it and like, what, I can't just immediately fast travel. What the hell?
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe we could do that. Like maybe, I don't know, just a little
Session
crash course
0
almost. And then that would, maybe we could do that and then just like come back in like 2 or 3 months or something, however much time you want. Maybe you don't like it at all. Maybe even with my tips, you're like, this game sucks, Dylan. I'm not playing this. But I definitely want to talk about Morrowind more on the pod. So that's what I was thinking. Maybe we could try that at some point. And Oblivion, especially as you mentioned with that remaster, that's an easy one to go back and check out now with a more modern lens. But yeah, I think Morrowind, there's a lot that you could love about that game.
Bethesda games overall can be pretty savage with their save points. Maybe if you don't hit checkpoint, or maybe you just come into a random situation, you realize you didn't save, and you go back to the when you first left the town.
Mm.
My exposure to that, my rude awakening, was the first time I ever played Morrowind. Actually,
Oh,
it
okay.
was leading up to Skyrim. I got really excited for that, so I installed it on the PC. And you do the whole intro. I made my whole character. Got like it felt like I spent like almost 2 hours playing this game. I got into a point where I was fighting this bandit, and I don't even know where he came from. I think I entered a cavern. He ran right at me, jacked me up, killed me. Goes back to the very start of the game. I did not save once, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now?" And yeah, that was my rude awakening on learning the necessity of quick saves. Although I don't think there was like a hotkey for that back then on the early game. Maybe there is. I just
Did you
didn't
play it
really
on
think about
PC?
it. I did play it on PC.
Yeah. Smash that F5 button. You're good to
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Didn't
I know what
about
cave
it
you
at the
died
time.
in. I think I know the specific one that you would have gone to. and
You
died
fucked me
in.
up. Yeah. I'm sure you would have warned me about that in the in
Yeah.
your little messages. But here we are at the tippy top of my list here. Keeping with the theme of nostalgia. And this is, I think, arguably the most important one out of all of the building blocks that are the early formation of me being a gamer. I'm not going to beat around the bush too much longer. I'm going to get right into it. This is the Age of Empires franchise, the number one game series, in my opinion, for me. And I will do a little asterisk, and I am going to include Age of Mythology here. I know, it's not an Age of Empires
Whoa,
title.
dude.
It's by the same makers, same game engine, damn well near. It's very similar type of game, but I
You know, man, you had every
love
Mario
the-
game, so I feel like that's fine.
platformers. I said.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
But no, I like everything I'm about to say about Age of Empires. I feel like was just elevated with mythology because it was just it added that fantastical element that I love. Added god powers. It was just the better game overall. A lot more quality of life. But it all started with Age of Empires. It all started with that first game. I was probably in diapers watching my dad play this, and like it was the something snapped in my head that I just fell in love with strategy because of this. And yeah, strategy is probably my favorite thing. Like just like whether it's a board game or anything, whether it's Catan, Risk. Like I feel like my deep seated love for strategy came from my early exposure to Age of Empires. I fell in love with movies like Troy or just stuff like that, like big ancient like empires type things. I just really, really grew in love with that, and I think it all started with Age of Empires. I think I was exposed to it before even like a lot of the movies, like whether it was I don't know, historical pieces. Like it is just early memories for me. So many fantastic late night LAN parties. I was so blessed to be able to have like just those core memories as a kid with my dad and my dad's friend, and probably Hidalgo was down there. My cousin was included with my uncle and stuff like that. Like we just had so many PCs in my basement, and we'd just be rocking late night LAN parties and just going to war. And so many betrayals. It would always go the same route, whether it was Risk or Age of Empires. Me and my cousin would like secretly root against my dad, and then he would just destroy both of us. I don't think I ever really beat him, actually. Maybe I'll have to try and take him on again these days. But he's still active. Like I don't think he's playing Age of Empires as much, but he goes hard on Rise of Nations, which is just another variant of the
Dude, that would be
RTS.
a great segment on 24-hour stream. You versus your dad, Age of Mythology.
He would be down. He would honestly be down. I would just
We
have
should do that
to
next year.
get
That
the
would be
hardware and
amazing.
set it up. And yeah, you could do like a hour, maybe hour and a half long game. That would be perfect. And
Hell yeah.
oh, I'm nervous. He's probably listening to this now too, and he's gonna get
It's already
he's
in
gonna
your
start
head,
training.
Kirkland. Come on. You can do it.
But no, it's very special franchise to me. Yeah, it's just one of those core like early base elements of creating the gamer that is Kirkland, and I think Age of Empires is the main brain of the whole operation. So shouts out to that franchise.
Yeah, that one's definitely like you can see the stepping stone from that to like Total War. Like that
Yeah.
that makes sense as a 1-2 punch for sure.
Especially like Total War Warhammer. That's like the newest strategy game that I
Yeah.
am playing, number 2. But then the early caveman era is Age of
Yeah, yeah,
Empires
yeah.
1, and that was when you like you couldn't even queue buildings. It was ridiculous. You would click create one villager, and you would have to wait because if you double click the button, you'd cancel the building. Whereas now you can just, you know, load up like 12.
Yeah.
The StarCraft players would be going crazy back then, but that was it. And Fog of War was so brutal then. early days. But yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. No, it's funny you mentioned that because I feel like my equivalent was like tycoon games, like Roller Coaster Tycoon,
Oh yeah.
Zoo Tycoon. I was like, oh, should I bundle these tycoon games as like one series? Because like Roller Coaster Tycoon, I've played like a couple of those games. Ultimately, obviously, didn't make the top 10, but definitely types of games I loved playing as a kid. But another one I loved playing as a kid and still do up until even just a few days ago, played this series. And probably no surprise to anyone at all, but it is the Super Smash Bros. Series. So look at this. In my top 3, I had a couple more Nintendo series to round it out here. But Smash is like, I was going to say game, but it might just be the one thing that I know the most things about. And like it's my greatest like knowledge base potentially. Like I feel like I could just do a 2-hour podcast telling you only about like the character of Donkey Kong in Melee. I could probably do a 2-hour podcast easy just talking about that one character and all the nuance and all the little details. Let alone this series I could talk about endlessly, and I definitely plan to. Now that Sakurai's done making Kirby Air Riders, I feel like we're going to do a lot of Smash related episodes in the next couple years here, so look forward to that stuff. But I mean, I love this series. I remember I still have that distinct memory of playing Smash 64 at my neighbor's house as a kid and being like, what is this? Like, I love Mario and Link, but they're battling each other. The game is so weird. It's like weird polygons. What is this thing? Picking it up, playing it endlessly myself, blown away by Melee, blown away by Brawl and this like full-on CG cutscenes and story mode that had going on there. Smash 4 of just like, whoa, I can play this on the go now with a 3DS, and there's 2 versions of the game. And then like bringing it all home with Ultimate and just being the ultimate collection of bringing every single character back. And I'm just such a nerd for like the rosters, the characters who have been cut or added, and the characters that have changed over the years, and the best maps from all the different games. And so Ultimate to kind of be that culmination of bringing back all that stuff. Just such a satisfying game that I've spent hundreds of hours into. Not to mention the amount of competitive hours I've spent grinding these games and learning the in-depth mechanics, mostly with Melee and Ultimate in terms of tournament stuff. Even playing like Project M, which is a mod for Brawl. Not a big mod guy, as I mentioned with Elder Scrolls, but like still played a bunch of that. And yeah, I just love this series so much. I love just thinking about the rosters and the characters and all the creativity. It's like just the best soundtrack because it has the best music from all the best games ever. It really is just like a celebration of games, and so it feels perfect that it's like my number one game series because it's kind of a culmination. It features Zelda, it features Mario, it features Donkey Kong, all these other great series that I love that didn't quite make it in my top 10, but it is kind of just that big accumulation of it all. So yeah, I mean, I could talk about Smash for, like I said, 28 million hours, and I have on this podcast, and I will continue to. But yeah, I love Smash, and I'm glad that you've been getting more into it lately, and I love that it's always there on the 24-hour streams. It's just another one that for friends, too, if you don't play a lot of games, everyone has played some Smash and is down to play it, and it's just another one of those games like Mario Kart, kind of bookending my list here a little bit of just good, fun games to play with any men or friends, whether they're into it competitively, casually, single player. I even love the single player stuff. It's just endlessly stuff to do in all these Smash games. Love it. It's the best.
Not too surprised that it was gonna be your number one, but
yeah. My 1 and 2, like, I didn't even have to think about that. I was just immediate. Type them on the list, and then the other stuff. A lot of fandangling happened there, but yeah, Smash Bros.
Hell yeah.
Let's rifle off some honorable mentions here. Let's see. I'm trying to think if we... Okay, I was kind of surprised when we got down to, like, your number one. I'm like, there's no way this is your number one, but I'm kind of surprised Call of Duty wasn't on your list.
Yeah, it was at the start. I had it at 10 to begin with.
Okay.
Very special franchise to me. Like, I've put so many hours into it, but... Like, I do have nostalgia for it, but it seems like later nostalgia. Like, when I was, like, a young adult era is, like, kind of when I peaked on it. Well, I guess not. Like, grade 9, that grade 9, 10, that probably would have been, like, the peak Call of Duty era. And then it felt like after Modern Warfare 2 specifically, it was just, like, the diagram was already starting to dip a little bit. Like, we get into Black Ops 1, which had great times, but like it still just didn't feel like my Call of Duty. I had very fond memories of it, but it was never one that I like got max prestige and really, really just felt like I was at the tip top of my game in those eras of Call of Duties.
Yeah.
And like that's not to say that like my love of it really went away then. It just felt like, okay, yeah, no, it's a little bit past me on the peak there, and I think for that reason, there was never like another game that just like shot it back. Like, you know, Warzone's been fantastic. Also, I think that's yeah, a big reason why it's like solidified as like probably the first honorable mention. Like it is one that was just on the precipice of making it.
It
on
was
my
close
top
for
10.
me as well.
Yeah, and yeah, no, definitely household name when you hear COD, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't have that love for it anymore, and I think that's why it's not on my top 10 today. But yeah, if you even go back 5 years, it would have for sure been on there. 10 years, it would have been like maybe my top 3 level of series. Probably would have crushed anything except for Smash and Elder Scrolls. But yeah, it's just like I have a different relationship with it now, and I just don't really like what it is anymore. And it's just not that time and place thing, But, it's still obviously big honorable mention there, and I've played a ton of those games. Like, just once again, quantity-wise, it's definitely up there. Let's see what else. Another one that was pretty close for me, similar to your 1 and 2, is Civilization. I love 5. That's obviously my favorite one, but I also love 3 back in the day. And 6 is okay. I think what could have kicked this one on the list for me is 7, which came out this year. Like, just it was so buggy at launch. I did play a lot of it, and I do like the game. I think it's really cool, but I'm just still waiting for it to be fixed and like fully released. I feel like past its quote unquote early access stage that it's not technically in. And then I'll play a bunch more of that, and maybe the Civ series would jump into that top 10 because that's definitely another longevity one for me. Zelda was also close just because I do have a lot of love for a bunch of those games. But yeah, why don't you rifle? I have a few more here, but why don't you rifle off some honorable mentions?
Yeah, my next real close one that I had, where did I have it? What the heck? Oh, I kind of grouped these. I put like FIFA, NHL, 2K, specifically basketball. Like I feel like I just go through eras with sports games where I just get really hooked to like a specific title. I've even like played the show a little bit. That's that baseball game. Not even a fan of baseball, but I'm a fan for sports games. They got me. FIFA would have been the one that I think would have maybe made it on there on its own, but I'm just totally distanced myself from that franchise. I feel like there was an era though that could have been my number 2 on this list. Like I was just obsessed with FIFA. I would be playing it online. Like I got really into the Ultimate Team. I remember downloading the phone app and like I felt like a gambler back in the day in like grade 8, like just trying to like get these cards, buying and selling, buying low, selling high. Like I was all in on FIFA. It was probably FIFA 12. I think that was that era. So that was probably like the peak. FIFA 12, 13, all the games around those ones. Like I think I was getting all of them and really, really into it. But then at the same time, like growing up, I played hockey, and every year I bought NHL. Like I was that guy where I'm buying a handful of games, but I know I'm buying the next NHL every single year. Like that was like a stretch for there, and then so yeah, it's kind of I could group. I guess I don't have to group them all because they could all just be honorable mentions, but yeah, definitely not worthy of being on the top 10 just compared to some other like heavy hitters that I've had on my top 10 here. But definitely got to shout out all those games, and then yeah, already mentioned COD. Another one that I had on here was BioShock, which I initially threw on there, but I really feel like it just tapers down for me. Well, maybe not actually. I do think Infinite, that's what it's called, right? BioShock Infinite. Yep. I do think that one is better than 2, just because the story is just a little bit more interesting. But that first game is a top 10er of all time for me. I absolutely love that game so much, but I had to take a step back and look at it as a whole. It's like, do I really love this franchise, or do I just love that first game? And I think I mostly just love that first game. But still want to shout it out. And so
I can rifle off of a few more.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, one that I definitely considered is Hitman, because obviously
I had it on my list too. That was the next one I was going to shout out.
Yeah, and I think that would maybe make more sense for you because you have the longevity with it. You've played some of the older games. I've only played this new trilogy, which is like now kind of one game, which, if anyone listened to our top 10 games ranking that we did as a bread and butter in the summer. Go check that out if you haven't. It's on Patreon. I debated that with you guys. I'm like, I don't know. Like, they sold these games as 1, 2, and 3, but now they bundle it into one. Like, is this one game? Is this 3? And so it's like, if it is 3, that fits my series eligibility, but it feels wrong, so I didn't include it. It's weird. I didn't include it in my top 10 as a one game, and I don't include it here as a series. So it's just so weird the way that they release that
enigma.
game. But I think when I go back and check out some of the older ones, I'm sure I'm going to love those, or at least the good ones. And yeah, I think someday it could definitely be in that top 10, but for right now, it's just a little too soon. Shoutouts to the Ultimate Alliance trilogy of games, Mario Party in general, Mario Strikers, that trilogy. Sniper Elite has become like a real comfort food one for me, and I've played a bunch of these games now and just really enjoy them. They're not quite on that top 10 level tier, but they're definitely just like, every time a new one comes out, I'm probably going to play it and probably have a really good time. And then, probably not replay it a bunch, probably not think about it too much, but just like, yeah, I just really enjoy the world of Sniper Elite. 2 series, I should say. Portal and Animal Crossing to me were two
Portal.
Yeah, only 2, obviously there's only 2 Portal games. That just felt like not quite enough sauce. And Animal Crossing, most of the GameCube one, and then like New Horizons. I played New Leaf on the 3DS, but really it's just the 2 games that I loved. So it just felt like didn't have quite enough sauce for it. But then lastly, one I wanted to show that almost made it in my number 10 actually is the Jackbox Party Pack games. They are video games. They're also kind of like party games or something different, but I have played almost all of those now, and they're just good fun. They're just, once again, like the Mario Karts, the Smashes, in terms of just like people who aren't big gamers can still have a good time playing those. And they're also like the only video games my family plays. My sister, my parents are not gamers by any extent, but like even they are into Jackbox. So that's always fun as well. So yeah, definitely worthy of a shout out because I love me some Jackbox. It's good. It's good fun.
Yeah,
so I think that was everything I had for my honorable mentions here.
I got a couple more to rifle off here. Where was I? Hitman. I had Assassin's Creed on here, specifically like the early versions of the games. I was really hooked on the Desmond storyline. I think not quite to Taylor's level, but like I was almost there. I think I was so hooked. I think Assassin's Creed 2 was amongst the most hype release that I had. Like definitely Skyrim would probably be my number 1 personally, like you were mentioning, but I was just I think I played the first game perfect timing because it was like leading up to Assassin's Creed 2 release, and just everything that it improved upon was like I loved Assassin's Creed 1, but Assassin's Creed 2 was just completely better in every single regard. And I got so hyped for it. I loved the era that we were in. Like the Italian Renaissance was just so amazing, and I was all in on that. Was probably like my peak Ubisoft fandom too. So I'm like Ubisoft can't miss. These games are perfect. But definitely I think I just lost interest after that storyline kind of ended. Like I'm sure they keep going with like building upon what was introduced there, but I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed 3 actually. I because on PlayStation catalog I had the Ubisoft, so I'm like, yeah, they got the Assassin's Creed 3 remaster, let's get in there. I couldn't even get through like the tutorial area because it's just so bland and dry, and like going through the story, like the stuff that I used to love, I was just so not into it. I'm like, I just want to run around and assassinate people, and it seemed like it took so long to get to that point, so I couldn't even really get into that game. But so yeah, my Assassin's Creed era is pretty much closed now, but that was definitely a special time for me playing those games. I put Diablo in here, another franchise that kind of peaked with 2. I played 1, 2, 3. Haven't played 4 yet, but 2 is like the peak for me. I went through because I never played 1 before, so I went back a couple years ago, and it's a very hard game. It's like very unforgiving. You have to like really kite like the early monsters, then you have to like grind just to get to a point that you could even like take on the first boss, which is very different than like the previous titles. But like I think that was my first dungeon crawler I ever played, and just really, I don't know, just perfect PC game for that era of I don't know, Windows XP, whatever that was, Windows 95, that era. It was just fantastic. So shout out to Diablo. And then what else did I have on here? I had Jack and Daxter.
Right.
Maybe if we did a trilogy, I think that would have been on there. I love that game so much. And then these last two are pretty similar. Ghost Recon, just as a whole,
Ooh. Yeah, nice one.
like Wildlands would have been maybe like my peak favorite one, but like I was looking at some of the games and I've kind of played like majority of all the Ghost Recon games, which is kind of strange. Like Ghost Recon Advanced Fighter, there's one just called Ghost Recon that like I didn't recognize at first, but I was looking at some gameplay and I'm like I feel like I played this game at some point. So I think just the tactical shooter era, and then Rainbow Six was the other one I was going to mention.
Nice.
Specifically, I think like the Vegas era ones, Rainbow Six Vegas, Rainbow Six Vegas 2. Rainbow Six Vegas 2 was one of the earliest PS3 games I ever owned, and I just grinded that game so much with a couple of my buddies, and just the tactical shooters. I think that's really just set my enjoyment for that era. That genre of games. So yeah, shout out to those ones, and that's the rest of my honorable mentions there.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's funny. I wondered because obviously in the summer we did our top 10 games, an updated version of that, and I wondered how much of this would be us just kind of repeating, those same series or games. And obviously, a lot of the games that are in our top 10 also end up being in our top series. That just kind of makes sense. But I still think we found some new parts of the swimming pool to dive around in. I feel like we found some different zones we haven't talked about yet. I know you've talked about Half-Life before, but that was fun to like hear about that some more, and just some of these different pockets of our lives. And yeah, it's fun to think about the longevity of some of these series, and like many of these that we mentioned that have like games coming out next year is like a really exciting thing. Like that's just obviously going to be a big year for games in general, but yeah, with like just how much these series mean to us, it's really fun to think back on them or think of like what series we really like these days. So yeah, this was a really fun ranking. Kirkland, thank you for joining me as always. Once again, everyone in the Discord or YouTube comments or wherever you feel like it, let us know what your top 10 series are, or if you can only do top 5, whatever you want. I'm curious what other people are going to pick here. But yeah, and let us know what you think of our list as well. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening, and we will see you all again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.